Game number 3 of Rats versus Supermassive. Saw a massive shift in attitude and gameplay and draft from Rats, and it paid off. They're back on blue side now. They did lose on blue side, Rats, so it'd be interesting to see what they're going to first pick prioritize here, because they prioritized Marco last time and it didn't really work out. And we have a lot of bans coming through now, as we are on a best of 5 for a fearless draft. There's going to be at least 2 more games to this. As you can see, Supermassive have auto banned the Ivan, the Gragas, and the Scion. Varus, Rel, and Zara have also been banned for Rats. What priority pick there is? Are they going to do the Vi special on top lane? Could be the Vi special on top lane. Don't think it went too well last time Baus played that top side, did it? I can't remember if he did win that game. Was that against Birds? That might have been against Birds, actually. I can't remember. But we'll see. Not sure why that's necessarily the go-to pick here, but I guess it's just worried about the amount of champions left that Baus can maybe play. I'm not sure. Could also be played in the jungle, but it's probably top side. And there is the Sivir pick that I've been mentioning a few times now that I'm expected it to be taken. We've got a Sivir pick here. What else are we going to go for here, though? Got Talia as a potential option. Feels like that could be like an okay pick here. They've already got that Vi also looking to do dash plays. A Lulu. So they want to do the Sivir Lulu that Crowny and Reckless have been doing in previous series games. Interesting to see what the answer is to that. Seen previously, I think Reckless had to go up against a Rel when he was playing Lulu, and I think that was quite a difficult matchup for them. Can imagine that Supermassive are going to ban hard engages going into the next part of this phase if they don't pick up a support now. They're going to be Yuumi, Zeri. Are we going to see Yuumi, Zeri coming out here? I mean, Lulu does the shield, so it's a good way for Zeri to get some of her passive there. Stealing some of those shields away. Are we going to see a Yuumi here? Are we going to see something hard engage instead to commit into this? A Janna pick. Wanted to see that in the previous game, but a Janna pick coming out here. Don't feel like Janna does particularly well into Enchanter specifically, though. I think they could probably have got away with a Yuumi pick, to be honest. Xin, though, being taken up in the jungle here for Supermassive, another big contestation pick. Still got some picks here. You've got some mid lanes that are going to need to be taken here and potentially banned out. Jarvan being banned. You've also got jungle also needed for Rats here. So I'm thinking, you know, this Syndra is free, Victor's free, Talia's free. Nemesis probably wants Tristana is also an open option here too, but then they won't have any ability power. They would have to run something like Lily in the jungle maybe. Cho'Gath also being banned. I mean, they could always flex, as I said, the Vi into the jungle, but I'm not sure that they'll do that. I'm kind of expecting Bass to be playing Vi. What is this final ban going to be, though? What are they not wanting to see here? What are they potentially scared of? A Jace. Jace did quite well against the Vi early on in the Birds game, I think it was. Yeah, some interesting picks here. Orianna, Aurora, Orianna. Orianna can put the ball into the Xin. Can be very speedy combos. We saw that in one of the games as well. I think it was Xin, Orianna. Some really fast ultis going off there. Oh, I would have loved to have seen Nami in the mid lane. There's the Syndra pick like we mentioned earlier. And then to round up this team, are we going to have Vi in the jungle or Vi top? I'm assuming they're going to pick a jungle pick here now. Not too many jungle options left now. Oh, is it going to be Vi jungle? And Galio in the top lane. We have seen Baus play Galio as well, I think. And is that going to be a Vayne in the top lane? I think the Vayne is obviously going to be a massive nuisance for a Galio to be able to handle, but I feel like overall into the game composition it would be terrible. Cassandra ends up getting taken here. Okay. Yeah, Vayne would be good into the Galio in a 1v1, but like after laning phase, I feel like the Vayne pick would be absolutely troll for Ian. Okay, who has the better team composition? I think the scariest thing here out of everything is the Xin Orianna ulti combo. You're gonna have Vi engaging in, and then Galio is gonna have to whack down his ulti as quickly as possible. The question is, will Vi survive that before the Galio ulti comes landing down? That's gonna be their main way of engaging. Both junglers are really kind of key here in terms of engaging for both teams. So let's think. You're gonna want the Syndra to scale up a little bit with passive stacks. Zeri needs a little bit of time also to get going. I'm not really sure what team. I think this is quite two fairly even teams. The Xin ulti could pose a bit of an issue though for Syndra and Zeri. I feel like in this game, if a jungle, whatever jungle falls behind, it messes up the engage potential, like massively. Like if Vi goes 0-2 or Xin goes 0-2, I think it's like, that might be alone to GG. You just don't have an easy ticket in. Like if Vi is 0-2 and she ults in, she's just going to get melted. Galio can't really get a good ulti, or the Galio's just going to land in there by himself. On the flip side, Xin, even if he's 0-2, he can ult. His ulti will still nullify follow-up damage, and the Orianna is still going to be able to ulti. So maybe Supermassive has a slight advantage here. Doesn't necessarily matter as much if the Xin falls off, but if the Vi falls off, it's really, really bad for Rats. And another question is, does Rats have enough hit early? Have they gone back into their late game? They've kind of gone back into their late game kind of posturing, haven't they? They got Vi for early, and then that's kind of it. You know, upon thinking, I think maybe Supermassive has a slightly easier to achieve team composition and maybe even slightly better as well.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
But we are getting into game here. Nemesis is looking for some balls. Maybe to activate for some first strike. Rihanna is trying to get some information with her ball. Lots of balls in the mid lane. Is it Gani going for the fast food skin, is that? But yeah, I'm sure both teams are feeling very tense. One apiece now and it's best of 5. I do wonder about this Janna pick though, because she's not really going to disengage properly from like, because the Xin and the Orianna, they can get their combo off before before Janna can even react. The wind-up can come through before the flash. Also, Janna just doesn't really do that well into... The Lulu will out-trade this Janna here. She's already been weirdly forced out of lane like that too. Like, Janna just doesn't do well into enchanters, unfortunately. Like if I'm playing Nami, for example, or Soraka or Sona, if there's a Janna, I'm like, yes. Nemesis missing that combo there into the Orianna. Baus being engaged on top side. Cassante is just... I feel like that might be a bit of a problem for a while. I'm not too convinced about this Galio pick in the top side as well. Massive poke damage going now into the Zeri. The Lulu just whacked down everything. The Q and the E, the Silver Boomerang Blade. Janna's shield doesn't really mitigate a whole lot either. Jungle invade coming in from Supermassive again like we saw in the previous game. So red buff is looking to be contested. Lulu's moving over. We don't have bot side pro on Rats either. Flash is going over onto the Vi. Looks like Vi is going to fall down. Lulu does get the kill, but this is exactly what I was worried about in terms of rat composition. If this Vi goes 0-2, 0-3 early on, Rats literally have zero way to engage properly. And that's their red buff being taken over again, just similar to the first game, the jungle invade. Galio's in massive trouble here. Is he just going to fall down on the 1v1 here? He has flash. This is a horror show again. This is a repeat of game number 1 almost. 1.2k gold lead already at 3 minutes into the game. I mean, that kind of started as well because, you know, Rats lost the 2v2. They were losing the 2v2 early on. Lulu was able just to move over ridiculously easy over to bot side. Yeah, and I just, yeah. As I said in champion section, I don't like the Janna pick into a Lulu. Here we've got a mid lane gank, stun landing on the Orianna. Orianna forced to flash away from the Vi Q. Vi Q just can't get there quite in time before the stun ends. Important flash to get off though. Maybe Vi can hit 6 before the flash comes up on Orianna. Maybe something can be happened there. But also, if you look at the CS difference though. 34 CS to Orianna to 23 on Syndra. Massive CS deficit. And then you got the Cassante picking up that kill. Lulu picking up the other kill. Janna looking to put pressure onto mid lane here, making the Orianna vulnerable to a gank. Now that she has no flash. Not much going on right now, just some posturing right now, but 1.6k gold lead at 5 minutes into the game. I don't even think Supermassive had a 1.6k gold lead against Rats in the previous game at the whole 35-minute game, or however long it was. Bit of trading back and forward here to the mid lane, but Orianna's winning out on those trades. Also, it's a complete disaster right now. Every lane for Rats is losing right now in the 2v2, although some dish back is now finally happening here from Zeri. Default tempo now fully stacked. But it really just feels like every single lane is losing for Rats. Orianna ulti used on mid lane. Syndra has no TP to come back into lane. She's on really little amount of HP here under her own turret. Vi is now looking for an angle. Vi has just walked over a ward though. Janna's also trying to move into mid lane to help out. And there's a PMMO coming from Orianna. I know. I see you. Nemesis on the Syndra now finally hitting level 6. But a sneaky dragon being taken here by Xin. Very huge dragon there being whipped up. Orianna being engaged on. Vi is not level 6 yet though. Also, Nemesis on the other side has been engaged by Cassante. Galio only just hit 6. Galio does actually connect the ulti onto the Cassante, but Janna picks up the kill. Orianna getting ulti by Syndra here. And at least Syndra gets to pick up that kill. Very strange there. Very lucky timing again, it feels like, on the ultis for Baus. Baus just getting level 6 in time there to ulti. Literally, if it was just a quarter of a second away, he wouldn't have got the ulti to land on the Cassante. Supermassive disrespecting the global there coming through. But yeah, the Sivir doesn't really have to be that scared. The Janna doesn't really offer too much, really. Rats do pick up the grubs and nearly managing to take that last one away. Honestly, Rats have done a good job to close that lead. 1,000 gold back into their pockets. Supermassive just going for a little bit too much there. I mean, their Xin was doing a great job sneaking out the dragon, and here comes an engage. Crownie forced to flash instantly. She can dash over this turret. Polymorph going through. No barrier. Turret, is that enough? Turret is enough at least. Sivir used both summoners there, whereas Zeri only had the flash to use. A big fight coming into the blue side here. Vi is going to fall down eventually, potentially here. Syndra kind of stopping the Orianna from playing in, but the Janna once again can't really do a huge amount. Gold falling back into the hands of Supreme. Don't know. I keep mentioning it, but I'm not sure about this Janna pick. We'll see how it goes. Maybe there'll be some really good Tornado engage players or something coming out, but I'm not feeling it at all. A little bit of annoying harassment coming in from Janna, but looks like Zeri is in Narnia. They decided to do a lane swap and put Gallia bot side, but there's 3 people here from Supreme. There's not much here that Crownie can do here. Ulti does come out, but I feel like if you're going to ulti, could you not have done that a little bit sooner maybe? Jinx sorting out. No one is contesting over Jinx at the moment. There is no interest in Jinx in Champions selection at all today. Gallia looking for engage onto the Sivir. Sivir does get taunted, but it's only Janna coming down. There's nothing really that threatening there, and Vi is really too far away. But as I was worried about at the start of the game, if Vi goes 0-2, Rats are going to be in big trouble. And what do we have here? We have 0-2 Vi. Still long from over yet. We've already seen Supreme make a few mistakes here in this game, but it's a bit scary for Rats. Janna's moving around a lot more. Quite similar to the previous game, but Janna just roaming just doesn't have the same impact as the Alistar. Janna now being warded out. I think Janna's just trying to give a lot more priority over to the Syndra, make sure that Syndra can get through this laning phase okay. I feel like a Jinx melee or something would have been better. Well, yeah, I think Jinx melee could have been a more interesting thing to do. I think Crownie likes playing champions that have escapes though. Like the Ezreal, for example, he likes playing Sivir, speed up to get out. I feel like he's too comfortable playing the more immobile AD carries, or at least willing to pick them. 3 people up on top side here for Rats. Janna kind of overextending, kind of trying to bait them in. Zeri has ulti but chose not to use it. They've both already been poked down a lot here. Super passive not biting. Is Gallia going to die again in a 1v1? Yeah. It's another 1v1 kill for the Cassante. Is Vi having a scary recall here? It's not looking good for Rats right now. The 1v1 issue in Faust versus Armor is starting to come through in this game. Stun used on the Orianna to kind of counter also the Orianna ulti. Orianna has no ult though. Why looking? Orianna does have a flash back up now. There is a dragon available. Could just be a standard trade. Grabs the dragon. Both teams will be on 1 dragon apiece, so it won't be an early soul for either team. Nemesis TPing back in with the Gallo. Good flank here. Orianna does fall over. The Syndra ulti was a little bit overkill, but you can never be too sure. Syndra now on 2 kills. Very good pick here. Gonna get a plate here as well for Syndra. Yeah, stuff like that is what they need. They need to utilize the Gallo's movement in order to find picks. This Sivir also getting clapped on Lulu's here. She ults up the Lulu. Vi is now having to run away and took so much damage from the turret there as well. The Zeri damage is not it. Jen is now here, going to be able to shield up. The Sivir might be able to fall, but there is a TP coming through. Zeri is missing so many of her ulti hits here. Lulu might go down as well here. Lulu does go down as well. It's a shutdown on the Lulu. Orianna has no ulti. Crownie still has his ulti going up. I don't think Orianna has enough damage here. You could just play out the Janna shield if you really have to. She's even taking a turret hit. Crownie had to flash though. A little bit of a misplay from Janna because Janna W'd the Orianna as she took the tower shot. So it would have meant that Janna would have got the kill. So that forced the Zeri to flash over in order to secure it. So yeah. But you can see, you know, oh my god, this top lane is all the taunt. No. Okay. Is anyone able to come up there? Vi is here. Blast. Oh, the chem plant. Mega knockover. No way. No way. No way. That Cassante. Oh, okay. Wow. That Cassante has just run them around in circles. That's insane how little that Vi did to the Cassante when he was on that little health. Wow. That Cassante is going to be a massive problem. But if you're looking at Rats' team, the fact that the Zeri now has 4 kills, Orianna looks mega tilted. That was a big whiff on her ulti. I think she was just ulting for poke as well. Bit of burst here, potentially going over to the Orianna, not quite. Bit worry of the Xin. Looks like they're converging all into bot side jungle here right now. But you got a decently fed Zeri. You got some Sindra with a couple of kills. But the big but in the room is not your mum. But the fact is that Rats have no way to engage. They can potentially counter-engage with the Galio ulti, but they have no engage. This Vi cannot go in. If the Vi goes in, she's going to die before... Even if the Galio overlays overwards, the Vi is committing Sudoku to try and get into the fight in order to get Galio into the fight. And the Galio's not even going a tanky build, he's going AP Galio, so he's just going to get melted as well. It's going to be really difficult for Rats to play around this. This Vi is 1.5k gold behind. She is meant to be a snowboarding champion, but I guess it hasn't snowed today. It's been quite a nice day today actually. It's been like 18 degrees Celsius. This looks like it will be first turret though going over to Rats. Both teams needing this epic monster. The Herald is now spawning now in order to secure Boots upgrade. There's already 3 members of Supermassive up here. Herald does take a little while to kill though. They don't have mid prior right now. Crownie's playing quite defensively towards that bot side of the river. Everyone's slowly making their way up the top side. Galio's heading back bot. He does have TP. It's level 11 now, so his ult range is slightly higher. Teleport now coming for Cassandra. They want this Herald. They want this boot upgrade. Are Rats going to do anything about it? Rats seem all over the place and scattered. Looks like Zeri's still pushing in midwave. Herald is on 6k. Fire's like, yeah guys, I am a wet noodle right now. I cannot do anything. Please let's not fight a 5v5. Sivir ulti has been used. Zeri's now having to ult. Lulu flash forward, ulted herself to CC the Zeri. And it worked. It was enough. That Vi just sat in the brush and just watched that all happen. She didn't even bother throwing herself in there to try and help out or do any peeling at all. If I had ulti, I think the Vi should just sacrifice herself there. Just try and just queue in there and just ult the Sivir and help your Zeri get out. Dragon number 2 for both teams here. I mean, you've just lost your AD carry. Rats, are you sure you want to take another fight here? Casante's pushing in topside. He doesn't have TP. Vi ult being committed to Orianna. Can Syndra offload any damage here? Galio knocks up a couple of people here. Xin ulti is now used up. Sivir does fall down. Vi flashes away. Syndra ulti. Syndra stun, sorry, huge, stunning 2 people at the backline. Channa gets a double kill, kind of a disaster. Zin's going for the dragon. He gets the dragon. Yeah, he does. Triple kill for Channa. What the what? Oh no. That's a disaster that the Janna picks up 3 kills. You got a 4-0-5 Janna on the Rift? I mean, it does mean he has 10 Dark Seal stacks as a converted Dark Seal into Magi's. And they lost the Dragon as well. I mean, they also lost tier 2 top. I think also tier 1 top was also taken. So Cassante got like 1,000 gold plus solo there. I don't even know who that's even good for, guys, if I'm gonna be honest. It's nice to see Rats looking for a fight and winning a fight, but Janet gobbling up all those kills. Man, if that Zeri was on 7 kills, if the Syndra was on 5 kills... I will say though, it's a bit surprising that Supreme was fighting without their Cassante though. Cassante is by far the strongest member on their team. Not fighting without him was probably not a great choice. I don't think they'll make that same mistake again. But you never know. Yeah, Cassante's now joining back up with the team. They're looking for this tier 1 mid. Meanwhile though, Rats are all over the place in terms of macro. Herald's been dumped down into tier 1. This could end up being a tier 2 if Rats don't answer this quickly. Oriana's bot side and has TP. Herald being used to... Are they looking for a re-engage with this, or they're just going to try and bring this down to bot side? Okay. Maybe it's just use this to try and safely get out there. I thought maybe they were going to try and take that down bot side and get that to be used on the bot turret maybe. We do have 2 items completed now on the Zeri. Still waiting for something like a death cap. We need a death cap and a void staff or something like that on the Syndra. When she has those items, she should be the highest damage dealer here, but the main problem for her would be Zen ulti. Will be interesting to see if this Janna dies. Imagine if this Janna dies after buying Magi's, that would be a giga disaster. Losing all of those 10 stacks and just a snap of the fingers there. You let her book? Oh my god, dude. Alright, what do we got? We got Attican bot side, Dragon in 130. This Oriana isn't providing much, but she can set up ulti with the Zen though. The rest of her team does have enough damage to win a fight. It's just, she just needs to time her ulti properly. With like a flash Zen charge and engage. Make it impossible for the for Rats to flash it. Syndra getting there with her stack. She's on 108 at the moment. I believe cap is 120. Syndra looking for a 1-for-1 pick here, but Oriana just checked the brush with the ball. Lulu speeding up the Xin here. She's gonna have to land a good stun. Stun does connect. Attican is aggroed. Good ball from Syndra onto the Oriana there on that chase as well. Attican wanting a piece of the robot as well. Resistance is down currently for Oriana. This Zeri by herself in the front, kind of playing a little bit risky. A little bit of damage goes over to the Zen. Zeri looking for some mid lane priority. Attican smelled oil, yeah. Teleport coming in from Cassante though, they're looking to fight. Galio's making his way down, he has his ulti. Looking to fight over this dragon that's spawning in 3 seconds. Supreme do get that, that will be Drake number 3 for them. Looks like they're forcing this fight, they want this fight. Rats are a little bit scattered all over the place right now, looking to do a Barscone play here. Dragon's already getting really low, it's already on half HP, can't see it's full HP, there's health bars in the way, but it's half HP right now. Double stun going over to Cassante and Xin. Backline engaged via ulting into the backline. Lots of fires. The Zeri just got absolutely blown up by the Xin. Syndra commits her ulti to the Cassante and that did like no damage at all. Battle's now having to flash away from the Orianna. Atikin has now been started. In the meanwhile, Syndra and Janna are looking for some mid lane priority. But yeah, that Zeri just got absolutely nuked down. Syndra ulti used on the Cassante, and I swear his health did not budge. Cassante was like 30% HP, Syndra used ult, and it was not effective at all. That's going to be Atikin over to Supreme. That's Dragon number 3 over for Supreme 2. Gold is quite close still. But objective-wise, bit of an oof. Galio delaying recalls right now, just trying to be annoying. Syndra might be able to get a tier 1 top. Nope. Orianna is now teleporting to defend that turret. Yeah, I think we're seeing a Void Staff being considered being built here from the Syndra. If she doesn't build Void Staff now, there is absolutely no way she will do any damage to this Cassante otherwise. Is that Orianna ulti just used? This Orianna's been doing some really weird ultis. Yes, they're not having a good game at all on Ori. Yeah, Syndra does have... Yeah, there we go. Void Staff picked up by Syndra. Big pickup now. Now she can actually do some damage to some of these champions. Cassante just doing whatever he wants. I'm expecting next item here for Syndra to probably be a death cap. I think if Syndra can get death cap, then she can start doing something, but the anti-tank still is not great for Rats, for the Cassante. They don't really... I mean, you got the Zeri pelleting down bullets, but I don't know. So Syndra is the main threat here. Well, armor penetration now finished, nor Dominique's on the Zeri. So we do have 2 anti-tank items coming in now. And also you got the Vi that can also apply armor reduction as well. Gold is in Rat's favor though. Wouldn't have guessed it after this amount of time, but 800 gold lead for Rats shows that they are still competitive in this, even with the Atikin and the Dragon situation. Janna still has those 10 stacks. That turret now going down actually makes the gold pretty much even now. Dead even in gold at 26 minutes into the game. Now the question is, who has the better late game? Looks like Supreme might get kind of caught off, but you're attacking a Cassante there, and he's only taking 10% health damage from a decent combo there from Syndra. Those shields as well are a massive issue, and there's no anti-shield item that they can possibly buy for Rats there too. Galio finding a good taunt on Xin behind the wall. That's absolutely massive. Xin gets taken down to 20% HP, forced the ulti. Supreme are looking to run away now. Silver Boomerang trying to like do a little bit of poke. Orianna ulti connects onto 2 though. Vi and Galio do get engaged on. Vi Q misses on Cassante. Cassante brings Vi back into the fight. Vi forced the ulti onto the Silver, but Vi just falls over straight away. 4v5 right now. Crowny has his ulti pots. Orianna forced the flash away from Syndra. Tier 2 mid does fall down for Rats though. That helps out a little bit. That was a really good engage actually from the Galio. But as you just saw again, the Vi just fell over like a wet noodle. She couldn't get her ulti off at all. She might be going Black Cleaver third item, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't even think she can go tanky, can she? I don't know. Zeri might be getting caught off here. Lulu's speeding up around the corner. She's going to probably EQ this Zeri. E the minion Q. She is slowed. Nothing else will happen there though. Tense game, isn't it? What's Janna going to pick up here for her next item? Is she going for what is she going for? Not Ardent, is it? What Ardent builds from? How do I not know what Ardent builds from? Oh yeah, it's going to be Shirley's, you're right. Ardent builds from Forbidden Idol, doesn't it? More posturing. Galio being engaged on. Stun goes over to Cassandra. Cassandra's still taking not that much damage. He's on half HP now though. Janna did fall down low. Flash away from the Zeri, but Zeri is just left alone and collapsed on. Janna can't get there to ulti. They've just lost their AD carry. Just wondering if the Zeri could have flashed over the wall to rejoin the team or not. But anyway, re-engage found onto the Lulu. Not sure necessarily why they're re-engaging, but Xin has popped his ulti, which is quite big. There is a Chem Tech soul though that they need to fight over. Cassandra getting low, push back there on a Cassandra, no stun connecting. Boomerang is huge on Syndra and Janna. Orianna ball over the walls causing issues. Vi is still trying to look to steal this, but this is going to be really dangerous. They could just look to re-engage the Vi here. Galio looking to Bastion over the wall. He's going to leap pretty far in here. The taunt's going to go down. It's going to lock down 2. Orianna does get caught and engaged on. Nothing else really followed up onto. Cassandra is just walking into the Vi, pushing Vi off of the objective. And they aren't even close. And Rats are on the complete wrong side of the map here. Nemesis does find some damage over to Orianna and to Xin, but Orianna does collect the shutdown onto the Syndra. Galio does go down, and I think with that, that might be the moment where Rats just lost the game. Not sure how you end up in a situation where the Janna isn't able to be with the Zeri in order to peel off. I thought that's what this pick was for. I might be being hypercritical here, but I'm not being overly impressed with this Janna. Not sure how Zeri ends up in a situation where she's completely by herself halfway through that fight. If Janna not there to peel away, like if Janna's there with the Zeri babysitting, then they end up being more competitive there. I don't get away with it, Janna. I mentioned it in champion selection, and I mentioned it in lane, like Janna would lose against pretty much any enchanter anyway. And we saw that. They lost a lot of pressure early, which meant the Vi got invaded early on. But yeah, I mean, like the Janna can't disengage from the Xin Orianna ult combo. Like there's nothing you can do about that on any champion. It's very hard to... that ult is going to go off as you're pressing your ulti on Janna. I do think the Janna pick was a mistake. But like if you're going to want to play Zeri here into this team, you're probably looking like you'd ideally get the Lulu for yourself probably, but like you would probably go like a Yuumi or a Milio. Don't really need the Milio though necessarily, because they don't really have that much crowd control in terms of like you can cleanse. Supreme knocking down this tier 2. No real answer coming through here. They've also got their Xin pushing in mid to try and get that mid tier 2 coming up here. Nami, I don't like the Nami pick if they go Nami there. They might be better off just going for a hard engage, but I know a lot of the engages were taken out of the equation. So Janna just to focus on the counter engage with Xin. I'm not really paying attention overall solely to Janna. It's just like Janna's job here is to, okay, a bit of an engage stun here going on. Casante's at the tower right now, but Baus is really, really deep. Although there is a Zhonya's forced out of the Orianna. Orianna doesn't have ulti at the moment. Syndra stuns do not connect. But yeah, if you're playing Janna here, you're either looking to disengage or just purely pure for your Syndra or your Zeri. And then I feel like in that last fight in the mid lane where they lost the Chemtech Soul, that wasn't being utilized properly. I think the only person here that has had a good performance this game is Nemesis. I don't think it's necessarily Vi's fault that she's that far behind either. I think the bot lane, I think the Zeri Janna bot lane lost lane way too early and lost priority on their own jungle way too soon. And then Baus just straight up losing the 1v1 a few times. Even making Casante as strong as he is. I think eyes will be on them on the next game to fix the mistakes. But we'll see. The game's not quite over yet, but it's going to be a massive uphill battle from now on. They're going to have to try and find picks. The Supreme are going to have to get very sloppy. There was like a 1.5k to 2k gold lead for Syndra, and that's dropped down to 600 gold now. Death cap soon though will be on Syndra. Like at some point will Syndra just have enough damage to, if the fight is still drawn out long enough and she's able to stay alive, she's just able to just pop off? Probably not, but it'd be interesting to see. Three items completed on the Xin. Got the Black Cleaver over there too. It's going to enhance Casante's and Sivir's damage even further. Redemption being picked up as third item on Lulu. Elder Dragon up in 40 seconds. This Chemtech Soul is going to be a huge buff here for Supreme for this next team fight. Sivir already used spell shields. Casante posturing forward a lot, looking for something. Zeri's not having any of it, trying to do damage, but you can see she's doing no damage. She's forced to flash after doing that Tickle Me Elmo damage to Casante. Seems like Rats are completely the wrong page here and just getting mega tilted, if I'm honest. This Orianna did get put down to low HP, but they weren't able to interrupt the recall. I feel like they're trying to find a way to cut off maybe someone trying to come back in. Syndra's not here. She has TP, but she's having to deal with the mid wave. She's going to be here quite late. Got Galio looking in the blue buff, trying to see and catch someone off here. And Galio ooh, what's Galio up to here? He's going to take the Blast Cone over, maybe? What's Galio? With all eyes on Galio. Orianna's been engaged on by the Galio. Orianna is already on 50% HP. Dragon's on half HP. Zeri's already had to use a dash over the wall. Baus gets knocked away into Nani. He's going to have to look to ulting in. Casante's already used his ult in, but Galio's had to use his ult and does connect onto Lulu and Casante. Zin's gone into the right back here. Now Orianna flash it over the wall. Is that a double or a triple ulti there from Orianna? She's done crap ults all game, but that was a huge one again. Same place as where the Jax did the massive Quadra stun in game number 1. Orianna giving Rats flashbacks with another massive AoE crowd control effect in that bot side tri-brush. And yeah, that's going to be game. You can see the Galio is trying to find flank avenues and try and get something going on there. I wonder if he could have just blast coned in initially there and just taunted straight away and try to set up something from there, but it was always going to be a very difficult fight. That's going to be GG. That's going to be 2-1 to Supreme. Rats have to win 2 games back-to-back now in order to stay alive and not get knocked out in the EMEA Meowsters competition. Yeah, disappointing performance, I think, from a lot of people on Rats for this game, especially after they had such a good, strong game number 2. I think the Janna pick was wrong. Would have been more interesting to see that in game number 2. Yeah, Baus just got absolutely destroyed in a 1v1 matchup there, losing his lane really, really hard, and honestly, giving pathway to Cassante to be the real proper threat. Like, the Cassante was just a brick wall that they couldn't get past at all. I think picking Zeri into that team I think is fine. It's just, I don't think that the Janna pick is it. I don't think that's it at all. I don't like that personally. I think that was a mistake. I think Nemesis had a very good showing though on Syndra. I think he generally played quite well. I think he was losing lane at the very start, but he managed to come back into it pretty nicely and hold off a lot of that game. But as I said before that game goes on, if that Vi goes 0-2 early and she ended up going 0-2 early, she just has no way to engage properly for her team, and then they're just always completely reliant on counter engage at that point. You saw every single time from the mid game onwards, they just had to play counter engage or get like a cheeky. They had to try some weird tech in order to get like an engage of like the Baus doing the taunt through a wall, which was creative. And then not having to rely on a Vi ulti into a Galio ulti to commit. But yeah, it was. I think they got outdrafted and then they got outplayed. I think it was a very clear commanding game there for game number 3 for Supreme. It's a good answer for the game 2. GG.